He never imagined that death would feel so alive. It began with a single heartbeat, and then silence. The world around him dissolved into nothingness. No sound, no light, not even darkness. Just a vast and endless awareness. He was declared clinically dead for more than 10 minutes. Yet during that time, what he experienced would challenge everything science believed about consciousness, life, and the very origin of the universe. At first, he didn't realize he was gone. There was no pain, no fear, only a strange sense of peace, a calm so deep it felt infinite. Then, slowly, a vibration began to rise through the void. It was like a low, cosmic hum, resonating not through his ears, but through his entire being. And in that vibration, something extraordinary began to happen. He started to see, but this was not sight as we know it. He wasn't using eyes. He described it as a vision without a viewer, a perception that came from everywhere at once. The first thing he saw wasn't heaven, nor angels, nor a tunnel of light. He saw the beginning of time. Before him unfolded the birth of a world, a swirling ocean of fire, molten rock, and chaotic energy. The Earth, still young, was being born out of nothingness. He watched volcanoes roar across the surface, clouds of vapor condense into oceans, and lightning carve through the stormy skies. He said it was as if he was standing outside of time itself, witnessing the planet forming second by second, epoch by epoch. He watched the first sparks of life appear, tiny cells moving in ancient waters, multiplying, merging, evolving. He could see the invisible hand of creation weaving form out of chaos, intelligence out of matter. He saw creatures rise from the depths, crawl onto land, and reach for the light. He said he could feel the consciousness within every living being, as if all life was connected by a single thread of awareness stretching through eternity. And then came a revelation that shook him to his core. He realized that he was not a spectator. He was the creation itself. He wasn't observing the birth of Earth. He was remembering it. Every moment, every atom, every sound of the forming universe was inside him, as if he had always been part of it. When he finally returned, doctors were in disbelief. His brain had shown no measurable activity, no oxygen, no signal, nothing. Yet he came back with detailed memories of cosmic events that no human could possibly imagine. The scientists called it a hallucination, but to him it was more real than the world he had left behind. He tried to explain it to researchers. They told him it could have been the result of chemicals in the brain, the final flickers of dying neurons. But he argued something much deeper. What if the brain doesn't create consciousness at all? What if it merely receives it, like a radio picking up a signal from beyond time? He spent years studying this mystery, reading ancient texts and modern physics alike. He found strange parallels between what he saw and what mystics, shamans, and quantum physicists had been saying for centuries, that consciousness is the foundation of reality, not a byproduct of it. He began to believe that death is not the end, but a transition, a return to that infinite field of awareness that exists before and after every lifetime. He said that during his experience, he understood how everything, stars, atoms, humans, even thoughts, are part of one great cosmic cycle that never truly begins or ends. He described time not as a straight line, but as a spiral, an endless dance of creation and dissolution, expansion and return. And in that spiral, every soul plays its role, learning, evolving, remembering. When people asked if he saw God, he smiled and said, "I didn't meet a being. I became the being that sees through all beings. The creator and the created were the same." After his return, he was no longer afraid of death. He said the greatest illusion of life is separation, the belief that we are alone, when in truth we are threads of the same eternal consciousness, dreaming different dreams. He described life as a spark of awareness, temporarily shaped into human form, and death as the moment when that spark returns to the ocean of all that is. Even decades later, Scientists still debate his case. Some see it as evidence that consciousness survives death. Others dismiss it as fantasy born from the brink of brain failure. But for those who hear his story, one haunting question remains. What if the moment we die is not the end of our story, but the instant we awaken to the truth of who we have always been?